Hey gang, Matt the Helpful Home Inspector here. Today we're coming at you with an episode about 5 things that you need to do to your home or around your home before the cold of late fall hits, all right? There's gonna be some more things we need to do at that time, but that'll be a whole nother segment for you, all right? So let's get into this. Hey gang, Matt the Helpful Home Inspector here with a little episode about early fall. We're going to talk about the 5 things that you need to do in early fall before the cold weather really gets here, because there's some things you're going to be limited to be able to do when that cold weather does hit. All right, so let's get into this. The first thing that we're going to talk about is looking at your roof. So we're going to go out and we're going to take a look at the roof, and you just need to grab a pair of binoculars. You need to go across the street. 90% of Americans don't go across the street and take a look up at their roof. I can't tell you how many times I've stopped at my neighbors' houses and told them that they have shingles missing, and they were surprised, okay, because shingles blew off in a rainstorm or windstorm, whatever, and sometimes it's been months like that before I'll stop up and knock on the door, all right? So let's go take a look from across the street. Grab your binoculars, we'll meet you out there. So what you want to try to do is get as far back away from your house with reason, okay? Pretty much across the street. We live on a cul-de-sac, so I'm kind of out in the middle of the cul-de-sac over here. Doing it on a cloudy day is going to be better because sometimes the sun can reflect off the shingles and kind of give you a deception as far as the condition of the shingle or if there's missing pieces and things like that. So get all your binoculars, take a good look at the roof, and you want to see if there's anything missing, anything going on as far as the shingle surface. If you're seeing granular loss, if there's shingles that are lifted or ripped off and stuff. So we want to look if there's any missing pieces up there. You also want to look at any chimney protrusions or anything like that. If you see rubber worn around some of the chimney boots, or if there's masonry missing on your chimney cap or on your chimney, you want to make sure to catch all that kind of stuff. So look over the whole roof. On our roof, I don't see any missing pieces or anything. Couple little nail pops, which nail pops are where the nail pushes up on the bottom of the shingle a little bit. Not a big deal. You can fix those next summer. We're looking for any large damages because now is really the time to get on that contractor and get them out here to make those temporary repairs so that we can do a more permanent repair maybe in the springtime, all right? They're gonna be short on time, so doing a permanent repair may not be in the books to get it done before winter hits, all right? After you do the front of the house, you would obviously walk to the back of the house, you know, go in your neighbor's yard or whatever and back up and try to get to see all of the parts of your roof. So when we're talking about your driveway and your walkways and stuff like that, once in a while you're going to get popping concrete like that. Sometimes you're going to get miscellaneous cracks and stuff. And we're going to try to fill those in so water doesn't get down into them and make them worse, all right? So these are 2 cracks and pops that happened in the early spring to my driveway. Haven't patched them yet, but want to get it done before the fall comes because as soon as the temperatures go below 40 degrees on a regular basis, the concrete's going to have a harder time setting up and all that kind of stuff. So what we need to do here is we need to take out and get rid of any loose pieces of concrete that are sitting in here that may be, you know, kind of going to be loose in the crack and stuff. We also want to clean out the joint, get any debris and dirt out of there. And then before you go to do the patch, you want to put 2 small masonry screws in there. So hammer drill in 2 little holes, put 2 masonry screws in, and make sure that they're below the level of the concrete, and then do your patch. It's going to help hold that patch in there. The yellow patch here from Quikrete, this is the best stuff for filling the actual large gaps in, okay? And then you're going to want to use this liquid stuff from Quikrete, okay? And that's going to be used for any of these miscellaneous cracks that are kind of going around your driveway. You don't want the stuff to flow up and over them. You don't want to create an extra hazard for your snowblower, your shovel, that kind of stuff. You want the fill to be just below the crack, all right? If you want to, you can even take a putty knife and make it nice and smooth to the surface, but you want to try to not make any more mess than you have to. Kind of keep it nice and clean in the crack is the best way to go. When you're filling those cracks, you never want to fill in these relief joints. The relief joints in your concrete are going to make the concrete last a long time because it needs to be able to move back and forth a little bit, okay? So don't fill these in. However, fill these miscellaneous cracks in, clean these out, fill these in with the concrete patch, and you'll be good to go. All right, so when we're talking about the wood trim at the exterior of your home, very important to keep it protected, especially here in Wisconsin. Our Wisconsin winter's kind of rough on things, okay? So you want to make sure to protect your wood. In order to protect it, okay, the first thing you need to do is remove any loose paint. Now, I repainted mine last fall, and it's still doing really good. So we're not going to be repainting anything this year, but we're going to look and see if there's any peeling paint or issues that are popping up that might need to be addressed, all right? But first thing you want to do is get rid of any loose or peeling paint. You can use a pressure washer if you want, but otherwise a scraper and then just doing some light sanding afterwards would be the way to go. If you don't sand it, you're going to be left with some raised edges from the underside of the other paint that was there, and it's not going to look very good. So make sure you sand the surface lightly with some sandpaper to get rid of any of those raised edges. ledges and stuff, all right? After you've done that, you're gonna do some repair. So if you have any holes, notches, cracks, anything like that you need to fix, so make any wood repairs that need to take place. Then you're gonna prime the surface, okay? You're gonna put 2 coats of good primer on, and then you're gonna put 2 coats of high quality latex paint on here, all right? Make sure you're using an outdoor latex paint, and I would always recommend using some sort of a semi-gloss paint, just because it's going to reflect the moisture a little bit better. Where the matte finishes and stuff, they'll soak it up a little bit more. You really wanna have a nice waterproof surface here so that the wood's not gonna be subjected to moisture at all right? So prep and paint. Now, there is an alternative solution to this. Let's go take a look at a different option that you have if you don't wanna have to do the prep and paint on your house all the time. So one of the solutions that you could do, and I did 2 years ago, was we went and we got all of the wood trim around our home, at least the majority of it. We still have a little bit around our front door and a little bit around our back door, but around like your windows, doors, garage doors, that kind of stuff, you can get this painted aluminum on there. We had a local company do it, and D&W Gutters, I believe they're called, D&W Gutters, but they do all kinds of painted metalwork and stuff. They did a great job. They have lots and lots of different colors to choose from. They came out here, bent it all up, put it all in the house, caulked everything, and I wish they had used a polyurethane caulk, which we're going to talk about in a little bit here, but they use a more of a latex option, but it works fine. It's doing great, and it really makes that prep and paint job a lot smaller, because now I don't have to go prep and paint my house all the time. This painted metal finish here. Only thing I might have to do down the road is caulk once in a while, but that's going to be every 10, 12 years or so, you know, so not very frequent as far as the maintenance goes. And anytime you can reduce the maintenance in your house, the better it's going to be for your life, so you can enjoy your house a little bit more. Now, when we're talking about caulks, okay, there is good, better, and best, all right? I would avoid using any silicone type of caulks unless it's in an area where you're never gonna see it and it's being just made to prevent water from getting into your house, but it's behind things, it's not gonna be visible. Silicones can work really well, but they tend to be kind of messy and they're hard to remove and they can get dirty and stuff like that. So what my suggestion would be to use a polyurethane Vulcum caulk. Let me go get a piece. Just a second. Polyurethane Vulcum caulk is what I would always recommend. It's going to be a little bit better product. It's going to hold up better on the exterior of your home. The only thing is, it's not a kind of caulk where you can like mush it around or mush it into joints and things. You need to inject it into the place where you want to have it, and it'll stay there for a really long time. We'll put a picture of what Vulcum caulk looks like when it's cured up there in a comparison to more of a latex caulk like we have on our metal trim here, all right? But Vulcum polyurethane sealant is what I would recommend. All right, so one of the things you need to do before that really cold spell of late fall comes is you want to get your shrubs and trees and things fertilized a little bit so that the rain that's going to come in the late fall here has an opportunity to work that down into the root system of those trees and shrubs. It's going to make them come back better for you in the spring, and it's going to give them a little bit of energy to help them survive winter a little bit better, right? One of the products that I use a lot is going to be this Schultz's Nursery Plus. This is for trees, shrubs, you know, small bushes and things like that. Works really well for it. And I use basically 1 bag of this for our entire property once a year, all right? All I do is get a can off of a paint can, and you just stick it down in there, get a little bit in there, and it depends on the size of the tree or shrub at all. But it's basically got a couple of different types of fertilizer and stuff in there. You're gonna go up to your bush or shrub, and generally you wanna try to get it down to the bottom, but I always usually will sprinkle from the top. And then you just give the bush a little bit of a little hairbrush here, and that works that all down to around the root system, which is really what we're looking to do. Now, when it comes to these trees and shrubs, fertilizing them is basically just trying to give them that little bit of extra energy so they can survive winter a little bit better, all right? But there's some other things that we're gonna need to do in the late fall as far as like arborvitae and wrapping them in burlap and some of that kind of stuff, which we're gonna get into in a later video when we get a little bit closer to that late fall period, all right? Thanks again for tuning in, you guys. And remember, the better you take care of your house, the better it's gonna take care of you.